Here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed.
We will never sleep, cause sleep is for the weak. That we will never rest, so we're all fucking dead.
No, sir, man. I don't like that crap. I'm a rocker, dude, through and through. Here's my favorite bands. AC/DC, Van Halen, not Van Hagar, Skinner, Def Leppard.
All right. We're on in 5 minutes.
We're headlining. We shouldn't be going on until at least 11.
It's the prom. It's over at 11.
Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Sam Cox, and this is the IMG podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are officially on season 2, and I couldn't be more stoked to finally be getting more episodes out to you guys. It's been about 4 or 5 months since we put out anything on this podcast. It's been way too long, but I appreciate everybody texting me and messaging me and emailing me, letting me know that that they enjoyed the podcast and that they've been waiting for more episodes. And I really appreciate everybody listening and supporting the podcast. And we've had about 1,000 downloads on season 1, which is crazy to me to think that last year when we started this, it turned into this. But I really appreciate, again, you guys listening. We didn't expect it to kind of just take off the way that it did. But it's been a crazy last 4, 5, 6 months for everybody in the Ragland camp, because not only have we been in the middle of moving, but we've been touring super heavy this summer, and we've also just been in the middle of getting together a promo plan for putting out this new record that Ragland is putting out September 2nd. It's called Guardian, and I really hope that you guys will go and stream it. I'll link it down below in the comments so you guys can go and listen to the new Ragland record. Hopefully it's out by the time you guys are listening to this, but it drops September 2nd, so go check it out. But so we're kind of in the calmer part of the year now. We're finally in the fall, and touring isn't as heavy in the fall as it is like in the summer. And we finally got moved into our new house in Pryor, Oklahoma, which is Autumn and I's hometown. And the record's done recording, and really all there's left to do is just kind of promote it. So things have kind of calmed down a little bit on our end, and we're stoked to finally get new episodes out to you guys. We've already recorded a few of them with a lot of really, really well-known artists, and I couldn't be more excited to share them with you guys. They're already recorded, and we're just kind of waiting a little bit to space them out to send them to you guys. But today we're going to be talking about tips for gigging musicians. And Autumn and I started this podcast, this one specifically, with an intent of just giving people advice that are out there gigging and stuff. But it very quickly turned into a podcast where we were talking about gigging musicians that are wanting to take their career to the next level. And as you'll hear, we talk about, there's a difference between a gig and there's the difference between a gig and a show, pretty much. And so we ended up kind of going down that route, and it was a trip down memory lane for me, for sure, because I kind of forget about all of the craziness that we just ended up doing over the years. If you don't know, Autumn and I, my wife, Autumn Ragland, and I are both in a band called Ragland. And I don't know, for probably, I'd say 3 or 4 years, we were out there doing what all gigging musicians do, which is like playing 3-4 hour shows every night, 150, 200 dates a year. And it was very, very tiring. But looking back on it now, we're very glad that we had that time to kind of just do our thing and hone our craft and figure out who we were as a band. It wasn't until about late 2019 or 2020 when we actually caught a break and we started having success on radio and getting tour offers and going on shows with a lot bigger bands, and finally getting into ticketed venues and building in certain markets and stuff. It's been a long few years, and we're not done. We're definitely out there still very much grinding, but this is for the people that are trying to cross that bridge between being a gigging musician and being a musician that is taking serious in the music industry, if that makes any sense. So it's a really fun podcast, and again, it was good to have a trip down memory lane with Autumn, because it's just been a long last 6 or 7 years in Ragland. And we hope that you guys get something out of this. This is all just based on stuff that we've experienced and done on the road, we hope you like it. So here we go. Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Sam Cox, and this is the Independent Musicians Guide podcast, and this is the first episode of season 2, Pryor edition. So Autumn and I just moved back to Pryor, Oklahoma not too long ago. I'd say about 3 or 4 months ago, and it's been kind of a hectic last few months just with the transition of everything that we've been doing. And we're finally back on this podcast. We haven't done one in about 5 or 6 months, and really stoked to finally get this going again. But we're back in Pryor, America. What do you think about that?
Very excited.
What's the perks about being here?
I grew up here. Family lives here. My best friend moved back the same time that I did.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It's nice when you know everybody.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs.
Yeah. I feel like we got this house just because we knew somebody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because of the dogs. We wouldn't have gotten it if we were just like strangers that had dogs.
Right. Yeah.
Because it said no dogs, but now we live here with 2 dogs, so.
Yeah.
Everybody is. I don't know who can actually buy a house right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we're going to talk today about being a gigging musician. You ready for this one?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
If there's anything that we've ever done in our lives, people can say what they want about, people can have opinions about our music or our band or either one of us or whatever. There's one thing that they can't deny, and that's that we have been on the road a shit ton, like a lot.
Yeah.
Both of us for probably a decade, together and separate. I think that we have probably driven over 1 million miles, if not pretty close to that so far.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we've had multiple vehicles that we put 200K on, and yeah, there's a few years there where we were on the road for 200 plus days a year. So, yeah, so we just wanted to come at you guys today with some gigging artist tips. Now, first of all, I think that we should probably distinguish the difference between a gig and a show. I've talked about this before on the podcast, but what would be your definition of the difference between like going to play a gig and then going to play a show?
I mean, a gig is like probably going to be like, 3 hours most of the time. You show up, you're singing covers. People probably didn't even know you were going to be there. They're eating dinner, drinking beer. You know, you're there for your hired entertainment for the night,
Yeah, hired entertainment is, I feel like, is the key word for a gig.
You're not there because you have fans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're there
which you might have some people that come out.
Make fans, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a show is gonna be like, more of a production, shorter set time.
Mm-hmm. You're not taking a break.
Yeah, you're not taking a break
unless something happens.
People bought tickets to come
Right.
see the show.
Right.
Like they paid to get in.
Right.
That's usually the difference, I would say.
Yeah, and yeah, I think the key word there again was being hired entertainment, quote unquote. Like if you're going to play somewhere and then people didn't know that you were going to be there, they just kind of showed up, and you can't be like, thank you guys all so much for coming out to my concert. That's just not that type of show.
That's not what they came for.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're on stage at the House of Blues or something, and there's 1,000 people there that bought tickets, then you can be like, thank you guys so much for coming to my show, and it makes sense because you're playing probably 90 minutes or something. I would say most shows are 90 minutes to 2 hours, or 60 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the genre and the format of the show. Shorter if you're opening. But I do want to also point out that we talk about it in a negative way, but being a gigging musician, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like,
no, it's just something that you kind of get tired of and grow out of after you've been doing it for years and years and years.
Right. Yeah. If you want to take your career to the next level, you can't stay a gigging artist for forever. You have to, like, at some point stop accepting all of the what could become shitty shows or tiring shows, or as our friend Blake likes to talk about, shows that don't pay the soul but they pay the bills.
Right.
So, and everybody that is where they are now, that is farther along in the music industry, they all were a gigging musician at some point, just playing X amount of days a month that are usually 2, 3, God forbid 4-hour gigs,
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, anyway, so that's kind of the difference between like a gig and a show. And I feel like I'm pretty particular in how I use those words, just kind of like in everyday life. Like if I'm trying to hook somebody up with a gig, then I let them know it's like, hey, this is a gig. If I let them know like, hey, we have a show, do you want to come open or whatever, then I'm pretty specific on if it's like a show. So Yeah, so gigging musician, we're going to kind of start there because I feel like a lot of people that listen to this podcast are up and coming, and they listen to this because they want to expand their knowledge, and usually people that are in that position are people that are just trying to get their feet wet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to the quote-unquote gigging artists, but I will say that some of these can also apply to people that are out there playing festivals and ticketed venues and stuff, every single show that they're playing. So if you could start by saying one thing to a gigging artist, what's like the first thing that comes to mind off the top of your head? I got some notes over here, but I'm just curious on if there's anything that you can think of.
Well, yeah, so me and you had already talked about this, but it's just learning your songs. From the beginning, you need to get away from, looking at an iPad or looking at an iPhone, for...
Or having like a music stand or something.
Yeah,
Right.
like you need to learn your songs.
Okay.
I mean, that's what's going to impress people, is if you go up there and like these plethora of songs, like, and they know that you've rehearsed them. You're not just like looking at a chord chart, just
Right.
kind of winging it. That's just karaoke.
Right. And I do want to say that if you're that type of musician and you do play as somewhat of a human jukebox, I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but if that's what you do and that's just an extra way that you want to make money,
Yeah,
and you're not trying to
the
further your
tips
career,
are a lot
yeah.
better if you can sing anything that anybody wants.
Exactly. And if you're wanting to be that type of gigging artist and you don't have any want or need to further your career and to be a touring musician, or just somebody that makes a living. Well, shit, people make a living off of just playing that stuff too. I know tons of guys that do.
Yeah, I think it's just about when we get into wanting to do your original music.
Right.
So if you're wanting to do original music, if you're wanting to grow as an artist who's an original artist, then you can't go and just be a human jukebox. You kind of have to learn how to make people want to hear your originals.
Right.
And if you're just accepting covers and that's kind of what you're known for, then you're just singing covers.
Right. I will say that there are a lot of people that will go out and play 3 or 4 hour gigs, and they'll just be kind of a human jukebox. And then on the flip side of that, they'll also get mad when they're singing an original song
and people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. People aren't paying attention because
it's like, did you get up there and like tell the story behind it? You
Right.
need to get up there and you need to tell the story behind it. You need to let people know that it's like a personal song, and which that's a whole different
Right.
thing you can get into with songwriting and everything.
And
But
that also goes into what type of venue are you booking at the same time too.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, but I feel like we're getting away from like tips on gigging, because this is kind of like, how do you get out of gigging?
No, yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know. That's kind of like if you're a gigging artist, you're looking to cross
Yeah.
the bridge
Yeah.
into
Then that's a
being-
good tip. Yeah, is like you need to look at the venues that you're booking.
Right. Yeah.
Because there is a lot of we can call them, it's still a gig, but it's only 2 hours. It's still acoustic, but it's at like a brewery or something.
Yeah.
And people know there's going to be live music. They've set up their atmosphere to know that there's going to be an artist coming in.
Right.
People will listen to you and listen to your original songs. But the downfall of that is a lot of times they don't pay as much. But I will say that usually in those scenarios, tips and merch make up for that.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that kind of brings me on to one of the other notes I had was, if you're a gigging artist and you're getting kind of burnt out on the places that you're playing, maybe switch it up, because there is a humongous difference in between different types of venues that are quote-unquote gig venues, places that, again, you're the hired entertainment for the night. And these are the kinds of places that have live music 3, 4, 5 nights a week or something. And there's different like formats of places. Like one would be like kind of a lake house kind of a vibe. Another one is like a dive bar kind of a vibe, which dive bars can also be ticketed venues. There's a lot of really good ones out there. But if you're trying to get some shows under your belt that there's not like a crazy rowdy crowd, I think breweries are probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Because if you're at a dive bar or just you're at the blank blank ice house on the FM road or the back road or something, like you're probably going to run into some like rough people sometimes. And I'm not stereotyping.
No, it's just where crazies go to hide and get fucked up.
Yeah.
And do drugs.
Yeah, and if you want to go and play probably a calmer show and one that they're more
Attentive.
That's a really good word.
I would think that they are. Yeah, for sure. And they're so much more chill and like, a lot of people bring their kids to those places.
Yeah, and their dogs. And,
it's like an inside environment. So like, the kids can come and you can bring your dog and like, just anybody can kind of come still. And usually they've got like food trucks out there. But the beer's better for one.
Right.
And usually you get a tab. It usually pays similar to the dive bar gig that you're gonna do.
Right.
And people are more attentive. You can sing more originals. And the tips are usually good because those people are not going to those places because they're poor. Brewery beer is expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
It is crazy. These people will just like start tossing 20s in the tip jar. Like, it's ridiculous.
To get like a pitcher of craft beer is like $20 or $30.
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of places where you can get a pitcher for $8.
Yeah.
I
think when we realized like that the brewery circuit was like awesome, we were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, because that's whenever we were gigging, I feel like that was really kind of where we kind of found our niche for a couple of years, because nothing against all the dive bars. There's a lot of them that I still love. Like Dwayne's, for instance, in Tahlequah, love that place. And honestly, that's kind of an example of a dive bar that does a ticketed show. That, or like Mercury Lounge, and there's a whole list of places that can be a dive bar but still do ticketed shows. But
they've built a reputation,
of come in here and drink some Busch Light. Like, that's kind of like
and that's fine, but they also prioritize artists. There's just a lot of places that don't.
Right.
But I just will say that breweries are it's just the crowd, the built-in crowd is better.
Yes, I would say so. Like the people that are just going to show up because there's live music, or just the regulars that go there because it's a brewery. Because like you said, you're not going to a brewery because you're broke. You're going to a brewery because you might have, I don't know, $50 to spend on 6 or 7 beers.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the place it is. And and they do kind of tip better if you're, making, a portion of your money like on tips and stuff. Those are the people. God, how many times we played at a brewery and someone just tossed a 20 or 50 or there are, we said that about dive bars, but it's the same thing about breweries too. Is like there is a lot of breweries out there that actually pride themselves on being a concert venue, so to speak. And I will say that there's a lot of brewery shows that like you're still playing a show, but at the same time you're still in that same format, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I feel like that brings up a subject that we should talk about, like how the venue treats the artist lets you know if it's like a good venue to play in.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't have to just go in there and kiss ass. Like, you just be nice, just be a good human, but you don't need to go in there and kiss ass. Like, they need to be paying you okay. Honestly, it's really fucked up when they don't give you a tab.
Yeah, and if you're like, how much is my tab? And they're like, oh, we don't do that. Fuck them. Don't play there again.
Yeah, that is so stupid. Like,
especially if you're driving so far. Man, when I get somewhere, I'm just
they're making money off of you. They're making money off of you.
Yeah.
They're bringing you in for entertainment to keep their customers around.
Right.
And when you succeed at that, you are making them so much more money than it's going to cost for them to give you a burger and a couple beers.
Exactly.
It's stupid.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think that hospitality says a lot about...
Yeah.
The
way the staff treats you, you'll know, even if the owner or the manager isn't there, how they feel about...
Yeah, like a year ago, we make it sound like I'm talking a big talk, but it wasn't long ago that Ragland was like doing gigs. You know what I'm saying? You can turn a gigging venue into an actual concert. Like, I really feel like at the end of the day, the difference between something else to kind of add to it, like the difference between a gig and a show is whether or not you're taking a break.
Oh, 100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's, I don't know, we just don't really take breaks anymore. We just, kind of play our 90 minutes or our 2 hours or whatever and call it. But what I was getting to a second ago was, last year we had played at this one venue out in West Texas, and it was just, it was dog shit, dude. It was not good. The crowd was just crazy. It was one of those, like, I was there running sound and merch and stuff while you were playing an acoustic show, and I had to pay for all my beer, and we had to bring our own sound system, and it was just kind of
I don't even remember this.
But the day after, we had played at a place in Ardmore, and that place in Ardmore was like, yeah, food's on us. It was twice the money. They had their own sound system.
The crowd was a good built-in crowd.
Yeah, like the venue had trained the crowd to
yeah
listen to live music. You know what I'm saying? Like there's kind of atmosphere sometimes when you go into a venue, and everybody's kind of like looking at the people that are talking. They're like, shut the fuck up,
Right. So, and it's like the venue doesn't have to kiss your ass either. Like, it just goes both ways. Like, there just needs to be like a mutual respect. Like, you're doing everything you can to put on a good show. They should be doing everything they can to make sure the show goes good.
Right.
And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes they show up and they don't even have anywhere for you to set up. Like, you're in a corner. There's a table there with people sitting at it. Right. So you can't set up. They want you to set up 30 minutes before you play and start on time.
Right.
Which is possible, but not good.
Right.
And, no food, no drinks.
Yeah. I feel like that's another thing too. Is like,
or like a nowhere for the band to park. You can't unload and load in like easily.
Yeah. Getting there a lot earlier than you have been getting there is probably something that a lot of musicians need to do, because
if you're running sound, especially
if you're running sound, in
or
my
even
opinion,
even if somebody else is, because I think sound checking before the crowd that you're playing for gets there is important.
That's what I was going to say. Is it kind of kills the vibe of going out to see an artist if you're watching them sound check.
Right. Yeah.
Not that. And this really kind of applies to anybody, whether you're like a small artist or a big artist. Like if we go watch Garth Brooks, we're not gonna watch Garth Brooks sound check. We're just not.
No.
And it kind of just there has to be some point where an artist kind of ups their appearance, because people are gonna take you as serious as you take yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're just sound checking in front of the crowd you're gonna be playing in front of, then they're just like, oh, okay, well he's just the same old Joe Schmo, normal guy. You know what I mean? He's not like anything big. This is just another guy that's just playing here. And so
I hate sound checking in front of the crowd.
Right.
It's annoying. And there's always that one guy that's like, oh, check, I can hear ya. I'm like, shut up.
I can hear ya here.
No, you're not fucking funny.
Right.
It's not original. God. I literally hear this on a weekly basis. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm going to kill you. Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how early you get their sound check. There's always going to be old boy that came in at noon, and he's there at noon every day.
Oh my God. That's like my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Is that man.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah. And they're all the same guy. I don't know how. There's 50 of them in 50 towns, and they're all the same guy.
Yeah, it's weird. He travels with us, apparently.
Yeah. It's just a kindred spirit that just like, just is
awful.
Like dispersed out through the Midwest.
Yeah.
And he's just there every time.
Yeah. But anyway.
One other thing that I would advise to people, and we're going to keep on the whole track of gigging artists trying to be taken more seriously. Let's just stick with that for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because that's pretty good.
Yeah. If you're going to go play at something bar and grill, something lake house, something brewery, fill in the blank, stop putting your start and end time on the flyer.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
And listen, I used to be guilty of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
That means that, let's say you play 7 to 10. That means people can show up at 9 to see you.
Exactly.
And they're going to do it on purpose.
Exactly. That means that the first part of your gig, for anybody that paid attention to that flyer, you're doing the exact opposite of what you need to do, because you're letting them know that
this is not a show. This is a gig.
This is a gig, exactly. And that
just goes into online presence. Like, you don't need to be looking. You don't want to look online like you're playing gigs.
Exactly.
And that's a whole nother discussion.
Like Autumn still does a bunch of brewery gigs like we were talking about earlier, but if it's a 2-hour gig, so we put the start time.
And then you come for the show.
Because you're damn sure not taking a break.
No, I'm
You know
not
what I'm
taking a
saying?
break. You're not going to get to talk to me in the middle of my break.
Right.
Like, you can come to the show, you can watch the show, and you can talk to me at the merch table afterwards.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to be doing, because the people that
Exactly.
see you do that, the people that come to your show and see you do that, are going to take you more seriously. They're
A
going to
lot
be like,
more serious than old Bubba that put 7 to 10 on the flyer and
took like 4 breaks.
exactly.
And, just...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
In which
just not...
it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm saying
No,
if you're
it's-
these are just ways for the crowd to take you more serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go, because there was a time where we started to have. I'm trying to think. It was like 2 years ago. I remember it like specifically like whenever like our More Like a Melody record came out, and at that point, Love Liquor and Place It I was doing really good on radio, and there became a point where we played like 12 shows in a row, like on a big tour, like all across the Midwest, and there was people there at every single show to see us. And
Yeah.
it was like, man, we're still playing these.
We were still gigging. We were doing
Gigging.
exactly
Yeah.
all the things that we're telling you not to do, we were doing.
We were doing, yeah.
And it made us look like idiots.
Yeah. And so we speak from experience about this. It's not that, we're up here on our high horse or anything. This is like, honestly, in the last 24 months, these are things that we've learned.
Yeah.
Like, this is not.
Especially, like, they just play a show, not a gig. Like,
Right.
yeah, like, I think the last 3-hour show I played, people showed up to see me
Right.
play, and I was taking breaks.
Mhm.
And it was just like, you could tell they were sitting there like, what the fuck? Because for them, they see me online, I look cool online, because I make myself look like that. I'm not actually that great. But, I make myself look a certain way online so that, people take us seriously so we can get better opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And they were showing up expecting that. And that is not what they got. And I
Right.
realized, okay, that's got to be the last one I do.
Right.
When I play a show from now on, it has to be perceived, the same way that,
You would go to watch a concert.
yeah, even
Yeah.
if it's acoustic, because these people are showing up thinking they're going to get a performance, and you're not giving them a performance. You're getting up there and then taking a break, eating a
Right.
burger, drinking a beer,
Yeah. And
they're sitting there waiting for you to get back up on stage
yeah, so they can hear that one song
that they love.
that
Yeah.
they like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're just making them wait while you just like take a break. Like the breaks are
Right.
just so like that is
kills the
like
vibe,
that is
too.
yes, it's the vibe killer. It's the vibe killer.
Yeah.
Like I was trying really hard not to take breaks while I was still doing 3-hour gigs for a while. I would play an hour and a half. That way, it was like a big long
Right.
like 90 minutes, and then I would take like a 30-minute break, and then I'd get back up there for like an hour or whatever. But it
Kills your
killed the
momentum.
vibe.
Yes.
It would kill the vibe. In people's minds, you're playing for 90 minutes, the show's over, they come and they talk to you, blah, blah, blah.
Buy a
they,
t-shirt
They
and they
all
get out.
leave,
Yeah.
and then you're still playing for another hour.
Yeah.
And I guess in theory it worked like that, because people were still getting a show,
Right.
but I was having to play for an hour afterwards.
Exactly.
It made me look kind of silly, though.
It did. It was like you were playing an hour's worth of encore or something
Yeah.
that nobody asked for.
Right, and
Yeah.
everybody was gone, because they had already seen
Right.
the performance.
Yeah, so there's a few tips in there. Again, for the gigging artist trying to take their
Don't do 3-hour shows. That's
yeah,
a big one.
don't.
but-
If it's a 3-hour gig, so there was, I think that a year ago ish, whenever we just fucking put our foot down and we're like we're not doing it anymore, we had a handful of shows left on the calendar that were 3 hours, and at that point, I think that we ended up just hiring on an opening act
Yeah, that's a good trick
to play
to
for
do.
45, 60 minutes so that way when you get up there you're only playing for an hour and 45 or 2 hours or something. So yeah, you can book a 3-hour show,
But
if
you
you're-
need to still present it as a performance.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
book an opener.
Yeah, exactly. And then at that point you say something band, whatever your band is, live at the something brewery with special guests Billy Bob, 7 p.m. showtime, and that looks like a concert. Even though you're playing a gig, that looks like a concert.
Yeah, and you can put it on as a performance, as a
Right.
concert, and anybody who is there who became invested will
Right.
always see it as such.
Exactly, yeah. And then that's how you start building fans in different towns and in different markets, is playing those types of concerts, because people will take you more serious. And I guarantee if you go play a certain town 3, 4, 5 times, over a year or whatever, just there will become a point where you move on to the next venue, which most of the time will become a ticketed venue. I can't tell you how many towns we've played in that we started out playing the dive bars and the breweries, and then we started to put on more of a concert, and then we started to get taken more serious, and then opening spots came up, or have our own headliner come up or something.
And people would actually come out to shows.
Yes, yeah.
But they're not coming out to the dive bar show.
Exactly. Yeah, it's tiring, dude. I don't want to go watch anybody play for 3 hours. I mean,
No.
I guess I would. I mean, I don't know.
No, that's the thing though, is I don't want to do that shit either. I don't want to go watch somebody play for 3 fucking hours. Like, I don't even care who you are. Like, I go to the BOK Center, and honestly, I'm done like after 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
we went and watched Chris Stapleton the other day.
Yeah, I was like, this is like, I honestly feel like I could just listen to the radio right now. I mean, dude's great, but like, I was just like, I'm over this.
Well, he had
like,
2 openers,
Yeah,
and
he
they
had
all
like
had
really long openers with like big sets, and I was just like, okay, those were really great. I've got my fill. Chris Stapleton got on, and I was like, oh my god, like I
was already
even
like
wanna
tipsy
watch
and tired by
anymore.
the time that he got on stage.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like, why the fuck are these venues even? Why are they even doing the 3-4 hour gig anymore? Like, that is so stupid. I really feel like if they would all just put on shows, then it would be better.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Right.
the artists don't want to do it anymore. The venues really, I don't think, are benefiting from it the way that they think they are.
Right.
It's just fucking silly. I don't know, unless you're like in Nashville. Like, when we went to Nashville, I mean, those people were like, we were fucking into it. We were drunk, like, we didn't give a fuck. Or no, that was in Austin.
Well, and both.
That was in Austin, yeah. Well, when we were in Austin, yeah, it was like, which I felt like the music was so much better in Austin than it was in Nashville.
Right.
But we went to Austin, and they had a bunch of music, on whatever that main street is, 6th Street. And, I mean, those people were playing fucking covers, and that was it.
Right.
But
you're the party band at that. That falls under the same category as like the casino, because I guarantee you.
Yeah, but you're not going to be doing your original shit like that.
Right.
So that's where you get fucked up.
Exactly.
Is if you want to be doing original music, that is not.
Right.
It's not. I mean,
be aware of the
I don't
environment.
remember those people's names.
I know. Yeah. There's just so many. You just can't.
No.
Like Be super aware of the environment that you're about to be getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And do it. I mean, do trial runs at different places. Like if you're a new artist and you're like, okay, well, I've been doing open mics for a few weeks or a few months. I'm ready to start playing gigs. Like, find your pattern. It took us 3 years as a gigging band as Ragland to really kind of figure out specifically where our type of music fits in, and we kind of went that route.
Yeah.
But
because we tried to do the rowdy crowd thing.
Right.
We're
yeah.
not a rowdy crowd band.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Right.
It's not my music.
Yeah. More of a festival versus a county fair, or more of a.
Could I learn the rowdy crowd music? Absolutely, but I don't give a fuck to.
Right.
I just can't.
We did for a while.
Yeah. But it drains my fucking soul.
Yeah.
It makes me want to kill myself. So, gotta move on.
Yeah, and if you're a singer-songwriter that, you really, I take Autumn as an example, because Autumn, if you've ever listened to
That's
Autumn's...
me, by the way.
Right, yeah. Anybody that knows. If you ever listen to Autumn's writing, and you can tell that it's, a very serious singer-songwriter just wanting to be serious about their shit, and then you have just a bunch of, crazy, rowdy, drunk people out there, not giving a shit about you singing something throwing my life away, or
they don't care.
They don't really care.
I don't even describe if we end up at a
and I don't blame them. They're just trying to get fucked up and have fun.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to make the point of, in Austin when we were at that, and you know exactly what bar I'm talking. We were there, and it was they did not. We were there to party.
Right.
I was fucked up. And I was having a good fucking time listening to these covers.
Yeah.
I really, really, really was. And so...
Yeah, they played Chattahoochee, and I just lost my shit. And I was like, oh, yeah.
I mean, it was great. But I don't remember who the fuck they were. The guy was an original artist. He had, a QR code set up.
Right.
He had his name up there, but I was too messed up.
Right.
I don't remember him. And
yeah.
All I remember is that, his band put on a kick-ass show.
Right. Yeah, and just be aware. I can't say it enough. Be aware of the environment that you're getting yourself into before you book a show. And, we're kind of doing bullet points here. And again, you can turn a gigging venue into a concert or a show with, it's going to be a little bit of investment with an opener, or, it's going to be, what are they going to do? They'll bring more people,
Right.
Seriously.
Well, okay, so that's a good point we should move on to is, like, how are you going to make your money when you're giving some of it up, transitioning into putting on a show?
Right, yeah.
Because you're not going to get as much to play your originals at first. You
Yep.
just won't. I mean...
And that's been us over the last year because,
yeah.
We have made the extremely fucking scary jump from being a gigging musician to a...
opening band?
Either an opening band or a headliner at a ticketed venue in certain markets.
Okay,
and it's fucking scary because you're like, well, we used to get, X amount here at this venue or whatever, but now we're going to move to the step up in that town, which is...
And we're just solely relying on ticket sales.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you are trying to make that jump, it's hard.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is hard because at the same time, you're spending so much money on promotion to get you to that next point. Also at the same time, and that's where honestly we're still in that point, and we're just making it work because I feel like we just have the people that support our band are awesome. I mean, we have a lot of people on Patreon. We have people that buy merch. We make money from streaming. Fucking finally after years.
Yeah. I think it's just like, be good to your fans, invest in merch.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to sell merch. Like, you've got to sell merch.
Right.
Stop eating out so much.
Right.
You need to just bring a fucking sandwich, dude.
Yeah.
Bring a sandwich and eat it on the road. You're gonna be fine. Don't eat Taco Bell and fucking Panda. That's
every
my
single
weakness.
meal.
Yeah. So I still do it.
Who are you talking?
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say though. Is I know better though.
Yeah. I mean, we brought an ice chest.
Yeah, we brought an ice chest last time we went on the road.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm gonna totally just take a left turn and talk about that for a second. So, if you're wanting to save money being on the road, then an ice chest is a really, really good idea because it helps you be able to bring drinks, I guess, for one. Because how many times have we stopped at QT or Buc-ee's or Casey's or something, and I go in there and get you a bottle of water, and it's like $2, and I'm like, I can get a
just bring
24 case for $6.
Yeah, we
something.
bring a whole case of water every time we go out.
Mm-hmm.
It saves so much money.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
you can freeze the water bottles in your freezer and put them at the bottom of your ice chest.
Yeah, that's what Sam did. I don't think that's the best idea because obviously sometimes it fucking explodes.
Yeah.
I don't think Sam understands science, but that's okay.
But it keeps
did
everything
work.
cool.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, we were able to keep... I mean, when you get to a hotel, you have to take as many of them as you can and shove them into, like, the hotel fridge,
It is
freezer.
kind of a hassle, but it's going to save you money.
We saved... this last tour, we probably saved... Well, realistically, we were out there for 7 days, but the first 4 or 5 days, I mean, we ate... Oh, my gosh. Canned chicken noodle soup and Lunchables, and I mean we ate out like twice, maybe twice, and we saved probably $100 at least in food.
And that'll go towards fucking gas.
Exactly. That goes towards the money that you just put in your pocket at the end of the trip,
Right.
But
yeah, just little things like that. Save on food. Be aware of your hotel apps,
Right.
Be getting, good deals on hotels. Don't be trying to stay at the nicest, fanciest hotel every time you go out. Like, just stay in the Motel 6.
And that's a whole other
6.
podcast that we need to do
fine.
about travel tips. That's a whole other podcast that we're going to do.
I thought that's what this was.
This one's like this is just, I don't know. I
thought it was gigging tips. Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, well. Well, so yeah, I'm just still talking about, I guess, just saving money. Like, be aware of, the discount codes that they send you, and always take advantage of the tab at the venue. Like, always make sure that you ask about a tab. That will save you dinner every night.
In the words of Hank Chitty, you need to know how much. You need to know the deal on your beer. Because you might not make no money. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, what is the best piece of advice you get anybody? And he said that, and I said, you know what? You're fucking right.
Yeah,
because
because
that's how you
there
go
has
broke.
been times when we assumed there was going to be a tab because, like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, somebody told us there was,
Right.
and then we get to the end of the night, and it's like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
Right,
we
right.
spent that much?
Yeah. And that's another thing, too, is, and this is a, kind of off topic, so we'll start to wrap this up, but advance your own shows. Like, if you don't have a tour manager or anything yet, if you're the one booking everything, kind of have a staple list of questions that you go and ask the talent buyer or the owner or the head bartender or whoever books the music for that venue. Kind of have like a staple list of questions, like obviously like start time, end time, load in. But one really important one is like, how much is your tab for food and drinks and that kind of stuff? Because I didn't check on that so many times. God, there's probably been 10 or 20 times where we thought we were eating at the venue like for free. So like I didn't eat lunch, and and then we go load in at 3, and I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
And when you got to load in, and then they let us know that we don't have a tab, and I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'll buy a $20 burger then, because I thought we were eating. I thought we were eating for free.
Yeah, and they're the
So,
only one in town,
yeah.
the only place to eat in town. And
Exactly.
You're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, in BFE, Kansas or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so quick recap. Okay, so if you're a gigging musician, and now whether you're trying to be a gigging musician that stays a gigging musician, which is totally fine. There's
Yeah, but this
absolutely
podcast isn't for you.
nothing wrong with that.
Turn it off.
If you're not trying to further your career, and you want tips on being a gigging musician, my tip for you is play more gigs and get a bigger iPad, because that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Learn more covers.
Exactly. Yeah. Learn
Get
that.
a loop pedal.
Listen to Top 40 Radio. Yeah. Get a loop pedal.
Get a harmony pedal.
Yes, sir. And get maybe
I kind of want one of
fill-in
those, honestly.
player.
It's kind of cool.
a harmony pedal for your
Yeah.
vocals or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd
because
be cool.
motherfuckers can't keep up, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, for the gigging artists, that's my advice to you. But again, there's nothing wrong with being in the position that a lot of people are in. Which, I mean, again, we weren't. God, it wasn't very long ago that we were still roughing it out like that. But if you're trying to cross that bridge, take yourself more serious, because if you're not taking yourself more serious than the people online and the people at the show and the people that are running the venue, all those people won't take you more serious until you do. And again, some of the things are, don't put the start and end time on your flyer. Stop
Playing
so
3-hour
many
gigs.
shows where you're taking breaks. Yeah,
Yeah,
book an
stop
opener.
taking breaks. Book an opener.
Yeah,
Invest, a little bit of money into somebody to come and open for you.
exactly. Yeah,
Don't do it. Don't make them do it for free.
right.
That's
There's
rude.
been certain times where, like, I mean, we're pretty connected in the Tornado Alley area. Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. This is like our main market, and we'll go play a show like in Memphis or Minnesota or Iowa or something, and then somebody will open for us, and then I've thrown it out before where I'm like, hey, instead of money, I can book you 3 or 4 shows down here.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Just kind of in
You can do a
return.
trade.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the old DIY punk rock thing that I picked up a long time ago. But there's always that option. Where kind of I scratch your back, you scratch my back. You're
Yeah.
you're helping to get into you're getting into other markets by just coming in and playing right down the road. Really, most times. So, but yeah, take yourself more serious, because they're not going to do it for you. They're not going to think you're just the craziest thing that's ever walked into this venue.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to start talking about your songs.
Exactly, yeah. So as a songwriter,
Unless your songs are just about drinking beer.
yeah, I was going to ask you, like,
Fuck off with that
as a
shit
songwriter,
anyway,
like,
but-
what scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to talk about all of your songs that you wrote, especially the ones that are new?
It's really important. I mean, that's how you're going to build your entire fan base, is the people that connect with those songs.
Right.
You will not be building an actual fan base that follows you for the fucking next 10 years or more if they do not have a song of yours that they emotionally connect to. So you have to talk about the emotions behind your songs
Right.
and the story. And that's how you make fans that want to follow you. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of how I see it.
And it just kind of trains you to talk to the crowd. And it's okay to be on a script. You think that every musician.
Oh my God, I tell the same fucking stories every show.
You think if you go see Eli Young Band and they, we've been to so many concerts of theirs, and we got to the point to where I knew what they were gonna say.
Yeah.
Before they played.
You know what I'm like? You could probably quote what I say before trailer.
Oh
Like
God!
You.
Oh my God! Don't even stop. Yeah.
I say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it makes people laugh.
Right.
And
right,
I've narrowed it down. That's it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's
just, you can put on a show and a performance. That's what it is.
Once you get it perfect, you don't need to change it. It's the Krispy Kreme effect.
Yeah.
They're not. What do you think they're going? You think they got any new ideas for the glazed Krispy Kreme donut?
No.
Absolutely fucking.
And you
not.
know what? We literally tried to go there the other day, and I said I will only go if it's fresh.
Exactly.
The light wasn't on, and I said nope,
Yeah.
we're not fucking going.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
And so you think if somebody goes to an Autumn Ragland show, and then you're just up there talking about your songs, just okay. Well, there's this song. Here's the name. Here's the name of the song. And you just go on. Where do you think the people want to come hear you storytell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's you got the exception of
They want me to be a fresh donut,
exactly.
not a cold donut.
Yeah, there's the exception of if we play one of the bigger songs as of right now, we'll take Call My Bluff for instance. We'll either go straight into it or you'll say, thanks to this radio station for spinning this one for us, and boom, just go into it, because just take yourself more serious. I feel like you need to, again, take yourself more serious, because if you're not, then nobody else is going to take you serious.
Yeah.
It's so hard to gain respect from the music industry as it is, and they're damn sure not going to do it if you're not taking the steps to just further in your career. Yeah. All this being said, I think that if you just picked up a guitar a few months ago, or you just started playing gigs a few months ago, gigging's where you need to be at. Go out there and
we should
honestly,
say that for sure.
Yeah, okay. So
if I didn't gig for as many years as I did, I wouldn't know what the fuck I was doing on stage at all.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even know how to talk. I wouldn't know. I used to not speak on stage.
Right.
Because I didn't know what to say.
And you've gotten to be a so much better musician.
Oh, thank you.
Just like you learn how to play. You learn how to play your guitar better. You hone your craft. You can play lead guitar. I don't think you knew how to play lead guitar a few years ago. No. That all being said, on the flop side of it,
use that time to
learn you have shit. You have to pay your dues, and the dues aren't just for the industry to give you respect. You need to go out there and
for yourself.
Yeah, for yourself, you need it. At this point, we've probably played 1,000 shows, and I say it all the time. Man, if we would have taken off hardcore a couple years ago, we would have failed. We would have failed. We would have not been the musicians that we are today if we hadn't have went through all that.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it's like my mom. There had been a random connection that we got with a huge artist a couple days ago, and I was telling my mom about it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, what if you get to open for them?" I was like, "Mom, I literally can't. I've never even been on a stage that big.
Right.
I'm not ready for that."
Yeah.
So I was like, even if that was offered, it's just not something at the level that I'm at that I would even. That's such a big production. I wouldn't know how to do it. Right. So same way with let's say gigging musicians, and then you get to opening gig status.
It was like that thing that the other day that you were telling me about, that somebody posted on TikTok about how Olivia Rodrigo is out there playing small theaters, 1,000 cap venues.
Yeah, this girl can't go out and play fucking stadiums yet.
Yeah,
she doesn't know what she's doing.
Exactly. Yes.
She's got to learn how the production works, and how all of that.
You got to walk before you can crawl, or you got to crawl before you can walk.
Yeah.
You damn sure got to crawl before you can run.
Yeah, so I was like, these people just don't even know what the fuck they're talking about, because this girl is, 17, 18?
Something like that, yeah.
Huge right now, stardom.
Arguably one of the biggest people on the planet, as far as music.
And that, she wasn't she wasn't a gigging artist. Let's just say that.
Right,
she was an actress who ended up being extremely talented.
The first show that she played was probably sold out.
Absolutely.
very first show that she played was probably sold out.
I mean, they immediately...
Well, I say that, but I don't know. You know, I imagine. But
they immediately threw her into festivals and, like, stuff like that. But this girl, she's young. She can't... She's got to learn. They've got to be safe. If they put her out there to play big stadiums right now, she would fail.
Yeah.
Because it's just too hard.
Well, I mean, she might not, but it wouldn't be good for her.
Well, right. It would be hard on her. I'm not even saying, like, she would go out there and she would, like, fuck up the show. I'm not even saying that. It'd just be really hard on her psyche.
Right.
Like,
right.
You just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's shows I've played where I'm like, that was a lot.
That was like yeah, the biggest show.
It's a lot of pressure.
Every time that we do a show that's bigger than we've ever done before, which I can think of 7 or 8 that come to mind in the last year that has been like, well, we've not done a show that big, you know, and or like that much momentum or that type of crowd or, you know, whatever. I always get off stage thinking like, holy shit, like I didn't know what I was doing there for a second, like as far as, you know, but yeah, no, just to, I guess, kind of to recap on that, nothing wrong with being a gigging musician. You have to do it for a little bit, and you have to have credibility in this music scene before you can really kind of move further, because the rest of this music scene won't let you. They just won't let you. Like, if you don't have the credibility and if your name hasn't just been in the ring for a while, you're probably not going to, I mean, you hear people all the time, like, you know, it just takes that one person to see you and that one person to, you know, there's not anybody that picked up a guitar and then 2 months later they're on tour with Blake Shelton. It doesn't have, I mean, not in this music scene anyway. Yeah. Maybe in some other, in LA or New York or not Nashville or something.
It does happen, but it doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't really happen in this music scene.
That is literally 1 in trillions.
Right.
That's 1 in trillions.
Right.
That you're gonna wake up one day. I'm thinking of one person specifically right now. Oh, I started writing songs like 2 years ago, and thank you guys so much. Like,
oh,
God. Shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah.
so annoying.
Yeah.
Why are you even posting that?
Right.
You look stupid.
That's so stupid. Yeah, people
like they just get fame quickly.
On accident. Like, I didn't even mean for this.
I was just playing guitar.
And then boom.
And then I got on TikTok and I blew up. Like,
right.
Okay,
right.
Actually, I feel like that sounds really specific, but there's actually several people that just came to mind when I said that, so I'm not talking about anybody specifically. But that shit's annoying.
Okay, so that's the thing, too, is like, in which we're getting super fucking off topic, but yeah, TikTok is a whole nother,
just an example to say that's probably not going to happen to you.
Yeah, that's an anomaly. That's
Don't
not
think
really,
it's going to happen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You just put in the work.
Yeah. So yeah, just hold yourself more accountable if you're trying to take the next steps. If you're not, again, learn more covers, listen to Top 40 Radio, listen to 90s country, and get a bigger fucking iPad. If you're trying to be a gig, if you're trying to make money, get in the casinos, because I guarantee there's way more money in the casinos than almost anywhere.
That's a good tip.
Get into county fair circuit, because that's kind of almost like the gig of festival season, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and you know, again, just hold yourself more accountable. I can't say that enough. Play a concert, even if you're playing at a venue that does mainly gigs. When you're making the flyers, only put the start time. You know, book openers. I mean, you're just going to end up increasing your network by doing all these things, and people are going to take you more serious, I feel like.
Yep.
Got super off track. We try to reel it back in. We change subjects a lot, but we're going to end up calling this one Tips for Gigging Artists, Part 1.
Okay.
So, what do you think about that?
You know, it's your podcast. You do what you want.
All right. So, thanks to sponsors that we don't have yet. We actually are in the middle of getting a couple really big ones, and I'm pretty stoked about it. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we're going to have like some pretty nice sponsors on this podcast. So, this is the first one we've recorded in like 6 months, and I was just like, man, the kid went to bed.
Let's just go get this started back up again.
What did we do tonight? You remember what we did tonight?
Well, yeah, I do. Allie had a mental breakdown. because she just started school, and I think she's so tired when she comes home.
Yeah.
She cried for like an hour. We just let her. We were like, go take a shower. She wanted to drink some water.
She just had to have sad girl time.
She just needed to lay in bed with mom and cry and pout, and that is totally fine. And so then we watched a movie.
Watch Camp Rock. Don't.
Yeah, which she didn't want to
shame
watch.
it.
She wanted to watch High School Musical.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's nothing that hits home like a 2000s or 2010s Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah,
A DCOM.
honestly.
They just don't. Man, like that. And then what's that one movie that me and Allie watched the other day? It has Corbin Blue. It's about the jump ropes.
Oh, is it called Jump In?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
And
With Keke
Holes.
Palmer.
Holes is good. Remember Holes?
Yeah.
That was good too.
This is totally off subject. But so what we did tonight, I made cheese noodles, which is Alfredo sauce with noodles. Allie calls them cheese noodles. We just kind of had a little Allie take care of Allie's mental instability.
Well, we've been
night.
gone for a while, so we just kind of needed that.
Yeah.
Needed that time, but yeah. Then watch Camp Rock, because when you're a parent, and I mean, she got into it. She liked it.
Yeah, but she doesn't think we're cool, so she doesn't care.
She doesn't. She's gonna either be a hardcore musician, or she's not gonna give a flying fuck about music, because she's not gonna be impressed.
Yeah.
At all.
She said yesterday or today that she said, I have dreams about being in your band.
Oh, yesterday she
We
was
were
like,
what?
She was like, I just want to be in the band.
And she
I
said,
think she's pissed off. Honestly,
Yeah.
she's gonna resent it by the time that she's old enough to be playing.
She said, I have dreams about it all the time. She's 6.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right, Will. We're signing off.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.